Hello, this is Kuku. I'm in Stockholm today. I'm with Magnus Lidström, who is a really cool developer. You might have seen my documentary interview with him from a couple of years back. And yeah, here he is.
Hello. Good to see you again.
Very, very good to see you again, and you. In the last video, we made kind of a long, extensive talk about your whole background and everything. And also it was around the time when you released the Microtonic or the
pocket operators for
operator
the
tonic.
the tonic, I think, and the speak maybe.
Yeah. But now, fast forward a couple of years, and now we're in the future.
Now we're in the future.
In the future, we have something on your computer this time.
We have. Finally, after all this waiting, we have Synplant 2.
Synplant 2 is a software synthesizer based on Synplant 1.
Yes, obviously, and it's been in the making for a very long time. Yeah. A lot of people, I've seen people writing on forums like, this is never going to happen. There's never going to be a Synplant 2, but here it is.
Yeah.
It's not released yet. We're just about to start the beta testing. But hopefully everything will go well, and I'm fairly confident everything works well now. So.
Yeah, and I've tried a beta or pre-beta version of the software, and I'll let you explain all the things. But it has some pretty cool features and something groundbreaking, I'd say, in the software synth world.
Yeah. But we say that for a little later, and I will show you first the other things that are new in Synplant 2.
Yeah, cool.
Maybe talk a little about Synplant 1 as well, in case your viewers haven't seen it before.
Yeah.
It's kind of a different synthesizer. It's not really what you're used to see as far as user interface is concerned, about how you make your sounds. So Synplant, the idea is that you have a sound. I can go here. So you have a sound, that's your seed sound. And then you drag out branches from this seed sound. And each branch takes the sound in a different direction. It's a random direction, you don't know. You just use your ears, and when you find something that you like, you can plant it. And now this is your new seed sound. And of course, you can then continue dragging out branches and finally find the sound of your dreams. That's the idea.
That's really nice. And I think we can see already that you're working with making it substantially easier for people to create their own sounds and maybe not worry too much about how does the synth engine work in the background. Just have a listen with your ears and see where it leads you.
Yeah, I have such a big interest myself in sounds. I've always had, and I want people to discover sounds and have fun with sounds, just as I have. And this is behind, I think, all my synthesizers. This joy about sound, and I want to give people this alternative approach to finding their own sounds. And let's talk about Synplant 1. It looks fairly similar, but we have new things in Synplant 2. Synplant 1 was this, and you also had the gene manipulation tool. So you could go into the seed and edit the parameters behind the seed. You can do this here in Synplant 2 as well, but we made it a little cooler.
Yeah.
So you can go in if you want to, edit whatever, the filter cutoff or the oscillator waveform or whatever. I should say this, it's behind this interface. It's a fairly conventional synthesizer. It's like a virtual analog with a couple of oscillators and FM filters, things like that. It's not very conventional how you edit it. You go in here, and then you have the DNA.
Yeah.
We have different sections here, the envelope and the faux, oscillators, filters, and effects. So if we go in here, for example, this is the envelope.
And this is the sound that it just created when you started to drag out
Yes,
fantasy.
exactly. So if we like it, but we would like the envelope to be shorter, we can turn down time here. We can increase it, make it loop. And in Synplant 1, we didn't have all these fancy graphics showing the curves and everything. So this is new for Synplant 2. Makes it easier to understand a little bit more about what's going on. You know? Waveforms, filter. We have new filter types in version 2. It morphs between band pass, double low pass, actually a series, like 2 low pass filters in series. And then we have 2 low pass filters in parallel. This was the only mode in Synplant 1. And then it goes into a notch filter. We have a saturation after that. It's new. We have also improved the sound of almost everything from oscillators to filters to reverb. Synplant 2 is backwards compatible with Synplant 1. So you can load Synplant 1 patches, songs that you made with Synplant 1, you can load it, and it will run in a compatibility mode where it sounds 100% identical to Synplant 1. Then you can choose to upgrade the sound if you want, and then it uses the new engine.
Oh, nice.
So
I
that's...
could see some automation of parameters going on there as well.
So yeah, we have this, for example. When you drag the mod wheel on your synth, all the branches grow.
Wow.
And if we go in here, we can see what happens when you drag the mod wheel. I will change the scaling so it grows even more like this. And then we go in here, and then we can see how all the parameters, all these different genes here, as we call them, they go in different random directions.
And every note is a little bit different?
Yes, so as we can see here, these are the notes in the octave, in the scale. And so if we drag this out, each note will play a different branch, a different sound.
Sick.
And what's new too in Synplant 2 is that there are different ways to trigger the different branches. Not only different notes in the octave, but we have here's different velocities. We have ranges on the keyboard, so you have like, you can do splits. You can have like one sound in the lower part, another in the higher. And then we have a nice one. I will show you. This, and we go here. This is layered mode, so it plays many branches at the same time. So we can drag it out a bit, and then we can. Now we have a lot playing at the same time.
Oh, sick. Wow, that's really cool.
Apart from this, we have some new play modes, which you would expect from a sophisticated synthesizer, that you can play it with glide. We didn't have that in Synplant 1. Now we have that. This. We have mono and legato modes. You can also decide if you don't want the mod wheel to grow all the branches, you can have it change the filter, for example. So you can choose different targets. You have filter, envelope time, different targets here, LFO amount.
It's very accessible. It's like a very easy to reach to menu there.
Yeah, these pop-up menus are nice, right?
Super nice.
Yeah, and you can just hover about and it changes. So you can try it out without even, clicking. And then we have a sync feature where it tries to synchronize. If you have something going that's it's like a rhythmic effect in the sound, it tries to find that rhythmic effect. For example, now we go back to having this repeating envelope. If we turn on sync here, it will try to synchronize that if we play the... I have a drum machine there. Well, I can keep it. Let's have that in the background. Let's see if it works. So it finds that rhythmic element, whatever that is made of, if it's the envelope or the LFO or even the second oscillator modulating the first oscillator with a very low frequency, and it just synchronize the rhythmic effect to the tempo in your host. That's the idea with that menu.
Nice. The DNA page there, you can see like a whole list of many parameters you can access.
So these are the 3 pages of the DNA.
Yeah.
We just choose to split everything up into 3 pages. So you have the first page is the envelope and the LFO.
Yeah.
The second page are the 2 oscillators. Yeah. This is oscillator 1 now. I'm playing. So you see how it morphs between different waveforms. It goes from a sine to some kind of saw to a square to a pulse. All the parameters in this synth are continuous like this. There is like nothing that switches.
Yeah.
There's no discrete settings anywhere. Everything is continuous and fluid. And that's like the idea is part of the character of the sound and part of the idea of the user interface that you drag these branches and everything just morphs fluidly between different sounds. So this is the idea. So oscillator B. Also, you can also choose waveform and stuff. Let's bring it down. But it has some more features. It has a sub-oscillator. It also has a sample and hold circuit.
Nice.
And this is new in version 2 as well. You can find some nice settings here. If you find something that you like, it key tracks the sample and hold rate, so it's like locked to the frequency of the oscillator.
Oh, nice.
So you can actually find totally new waveforms this way.
Yeah.
They both have noise as well. And then the oscillator B modulates oscillator A with frequency modulation. And then these 2 oscillators go into the filter, which I showed you before, a morphable filter. Now there's some saturation after it, makes it sound a little beefier. The filter is composed of 2 filter circuits, so to speak. And they are, the morph here that I'm showing is changing the type of the filter and how they are processed, going from serial processing to parallel processing as you morph the filter.
Yeah, there is no switching between modes.
Exactly, exactly. So you can find anything in between a bandpass, a low pass with a slow, non-steep slope to a steep slope. Everything in between, with this filter type morph. So that's pretty cool.
Very nice.
And then this controls the separation between the 2 different filters. And the nice thing with 2 filters is that you can have like 2, what you see is like 2 peaks, which is good for making like formats.
Yeah.
Simple formats.
Yeah.
Of course, you would need a lot more if you would.
Yeah.
Try to reproduce speech or something, but it's cool to make like vocal synth sounds, like that.
Yeah.
Then after that, a saturation it just makes it sound a little harder, a little more full. It adds overtones, and then it goes into the reverb. The effect is a reverb with a chorusing effect inside the reverb feedback path. So It's very characteristic for Synplant, this reverb, I think. And I improved it for version 2. That's probably the biggest difference in sound between version 1 and version 2. If you load an old version 1 patch and then you turn off the legacy mode, the compatibility mode, and then it uses the new reverb engine, that's where you hear like the biggest difference. So we have some features here that I want to show. So let's look at this chorusing thing to begin with. This is without the chorus, and then I turn this on.
That's huge.
Yeah, and very typical for Synplant.
Yeah.
A lot of the trademark patches for Synplant have this reverb.
Oh, nice.
It's what makes it sound cool. This one is actually the only parameter here that is not fluid. For technical reasons. There's only one reverb shared between all the voices and stuff, and changing the reverb size is technically difficult to do that. So when you change the reverb size, it just fades out the reverb quickly, fades in the new setting. But you have everything from, if you pull down the reverb size a lot, you get this ringing quality.
Metallic.
Metallic, exactly. And turned up, it becomes bigger, of course. But many times I've created patches that have this, that uses the very small reverb setting to have this metallic timbre. It's like a special effect reverb. It's not meant to sound natural. It's meant to sound interesting, you know. Then we also have a new parameter here. It's reverb attack, which fades in the reverb. So you can keep the attack. So the reverb comes after the attack.
Nice. I think it sounds really good.
Thank you. Then we have some new parameters down here. It's a simple equalizer, just a 2-band thing with bass and treble. There's a panning effect also in Synplant 1, like the different branches. If we go here.
Oh, wow.
So the different branches pan to different directions, and sometimes you don't like this effect, and then you can drag down this and have it all centered. And then you have the clipping adjust that just in the end of the signal chain in Synplant there is like a soft clipper on the output to just contain the signal and make it sound a little warmer. And here you can adjust the amount of that and overdrive it entirely if you want.
I could see the color went red.
Yeah.
Did it like analyze the quality of the sound?
Yeah, actually it does. So when it saturates a lot, when it distorts a lot, it turns red and angry.
Yeah, that's sick.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm very curious about the AI part of this. I've checked it out just briefly, and it's one of these features that it's just mind-blowing, and then you get used to it, and then it's so incredibly natural. It's very cool. Take it away.
Okay, let's show it. This is why this product took so long to make, because this AI, I had this idea a long time ago. It should be possible to take any sample, any sound, and have a synthesizer create like a synth patch that sounds like this sample, like this recording. And then I made some tests and I got it working. Maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago or something, but it was extremely slow. Like I had to wait a day or something for this program to finish running and give me a sound. But for me, it was like, yes, it works. Now I just have to make a product out of this.
Yeah.
And in the end, I managed to build a lot of you combine a lot of different machine learning techniques, including like genetic algorithms, neural networks, everything combined into this function here that I'm finally very proud of. So let's look at it.
Let's look at it.
This is Genopatch.
Yeah.
This is what we call this technology. Okay, so we load a sound, a sample here. This one maybe. So here's a sample. I'm going to start with a sample that comes from a synthesizer, not this synthesizer, another one. So this is a sample.
Cool. It's a recorded sound, a wave file from a random synthesizer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now let's click search for solutions and let the AI find patches for us.
Yeah.
Let's see where we go. Now very fast. These different balls here are different patches.
Yeah.
And very fast it found a sound that's very similar because it's a synth sound that, this synth engine can do. So here's the source sound and here's what it made. I can continue searching. We can look, this is like another track that it's working on. It will sound a little different.
Yeah.
Still kind of similar now because we have this fairly simple source sound, But when we find a sound we like, we close here and that's the sound that we have loaded here. We can drag the branches, find new sounds.
Yeah. And now the sample is gone. Now, that sample is done.
So
it made a sound.
we go in here and we can see how it made it. So here is the envelope, right?
Yeah.
It uses a square, apparently, some kind of some FM between them. This is without FM. This is with. The filter, of course, is making. Yeah. Okay, let's give it something else.
Cool.
Something a little more difficult.
Yeah.
Okay.
Challenge.
Okay, challenge. Let's see. Maybe this one. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's try that. Let's see.
It's cool to listen to the process too.
Yeah.
Kind of
so as
mysterious.
it works, it tries to make the sound more and more similar to the sample. It starts out. Here we have something pretty cool, right? We can stop there. Let's try with this.
That's really cool.
Again, no samples. So how can you make this? I would guess that we have a lot of the reverb here. Yeah, you take away the reverb. Oh, it's still cool. The filter probably makes it sound voicey. Let's see. Yeah, if we take away the filter, open it up. There's some FM action.
Yeah.
It just finds a solution somehow.
Yeah.
Solutions that even I, knowing this synthesizer in and out, even I wouldn't come up with these ideas.
Yeah.
So.
And also, I think, especially, I make a lot of patches in different synths, and I think it's always about a very, very delicate balance.
Yeah.
And you could hear that it's starting out kind of coarse, and then it's going into further detail, and then it's the finer, like the moment you change the filter a little bit, the resemblance was kind of gone.
Yes.
So it knows the engine, and it knows where to fiddle.
Yeah. It has a knowledge that I've trained a neural net.
Yeah.
This is a process that is very time consuming.
Yeah.
So I train a neural net on the synth engine. In theory, it could be any synth. Now it's Synplant. I train it with parameters and the sounds that these parameters make. And then the neural net learns, these parameters, they sound like this. These parameters sound like that. And then, you could ask it, take this sound, which parameters are likely here? And it guesses. It's probably a square oscillator, it's probably a bandpass filter, whatever. And it sets that up. And in the beginning, you hear these first tests that it's making. It's like setting up the synth and testing. And then it's listening to the sound.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay. And then it's doing a lot of these. Now maybe it's done a few hundred. And then the best one is this. It just keeps like fine-tuning, changing the filter a little, changing the oscillators, whatever, until it reaches something that's, close enough.
Yeah. And so in the background, you must be running Synplant at hyperspeed.
Yes.
To kind of generate the data as quickly as possible.
You can see this here. Actually, I have a little measurement here. Yeah. So when we go here, you see how many tests it has done. This is how many sounds it has rendered.
Yeah.
In the background, it's rendering on this computer. This is an M1.
Yeah.
It's rendering around 300 sounds per second.
Yeah.
But
very cool.
Yeah, my girlfriend just got a new MacBook Air.
Yeah.
It's an M2. It's like the entry level laptop from Apple.
Yeah.
With M2, it's more like 400 per second.
Yeah.
And in a few years, it's going to be 1,000, 2,000 per second.
Yeah.
So in that way, all this time I worked on these algorithms, it's also like, now is the time when everything works, because the processors are finally fast enough to make it like a fun tool that you can actually...
Yeah.
You don't have to have the patience of an angel just to sit and wait 20 minutes for a sound. You have sounds in seconds. So. Okay, want to try something else?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's all going to come down to what the sound engine, where the limitations of the sound engine are. So some sounds will probably hit like gray zones where it's like, well, we do what we can, but when I tried it out, I expected to find much more of those gray zones.
Oh, really?
I tried like piano samples, voices, and stuff, and it was really good on nearly everything I tried.
I'm happy to hear that. I was surprised too when I got this algorithm to work. I was surprised how many sounds this engine could do.
Yeah.
I think actually most synthesizers, this is a very versatile synthesizer. It has a sound engine that's very capable, but a lot of synths have that. It's not like the worst monster synth in the world. It doesn't have like complex wavetable synthesis or whatever. It's a 2 oscillator synth with a filter. Yeah. 2 filters. Yeah. And it's amazing how many sounds. It's like endless.
Yeah.
And just finding the exact right parameters, you can make it sound like a piano or something. Fairly good.
Let's try piano.
Okay, let's see. Piano, a fixed piano. This is, but it's like a prepared piano. You call it that, right? It's not really a piano. Okay, let's listen to the song. Yeah, it's trying to do that. Oh, this is interesting, like how it scales. Like you come up here, it's something different. It's like a flute.
Yeah. But I think immediately when I heard that sample, I was like, it's going to struggle a little bit to nail that kind of acoustic quality, like the airy, fluffy quality. But no, it just nailed it.
Yeah,
that was cool.
Yeah, we can try. I mean, if we try with a sound that I'm fairly sure it can't mimic.
Something wacky.
Yeah, like this one, like a voice. Yeah, maybe that one. So the envelopes in Synplant are fairly simple, so we won't like be able to replicate speech very good, but we can see what it does with a sound like this. So let's go. It's struggling, right?
But it's really freaking close. Like I would struggle much more than that.
It's just trying to find some solution. It's
Yeah.
I will do it, but you know.
But I think this one was
that's an interesting one.
really eerily voice-like somehow.
I know one thing that's fairly fun. Let's try this. When it's got like a lot of metallic.
Oh yeah. Wow.
This is fun. Listen to this. How do you think it makes this sound?
Ring modulation. I don't know.
Let's go in here. I'm fairly sure it's the reverb. I will take away the reverb. Let's see. This is without the reverb.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of FM as well.
Yeah.
So there's some FM. Yeah, here's the FM.
Yeah.
So it starts with the FM, like having this initial like exciter sounds, and then it goes through the reverb, which has an extremely small room setting, which
like
creates this. Yeah, it creates this very metallic decay.
Nice. If you were to try and mimic a drum.
Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's see, we can try, here's some tom, let's see.
Nice.
Let's try something else. Timpani, let's see if it... Oh, there's a nice one.
Nice.
Again, using the reverb, I guess.
Yeah. But I think it finds solutions with a lot of
it's fairly cool with that reverb.
integrity and sort of well, you can hear that it's not just I don't know. It finds good sounding. There is like a sizzle in some of the sounds that it chooses to go for, which is cool.
So here's the idea with Synplant is that you have the seed.
Yeah.
The seed is what you see here and what you edit here,
Yeah.
right? And then you drag out branches and you get variations in this, right?
Yeah.
One thing that's new in Synplant 2 is if you hold down the command button, you can randomize. So if you're building like a kit with different timpani sounds, but you know this one was boring, you can click here and you can randomize that one until you find something that's more interesting.
Cool.
And you can also go here, you can edit the volumes of the different branches. There's even an automatic normalizer that does it by itself, so it normalizes. So now they have equal volume.
Nice. That's very convenient. You showed me a little snippet of something you released like a year ago or something,
Right.
where you were utilizing this idea of having the AI analyze certain famous samples from famous drum
machines. So this I did with Microtonic.
Yeah.
And it's I guess an example that, of what I said before, that this is like a generic technology. I can implement this and I can have these machine learning algorithms find parameters for any synth, really. So like to prove this, just as a test, because I developed this for Synplant, but then a few years ago I was like, what happens if I do this with Microtonic now? So I took this algorithm, I put it into Microtonic. This is not going to be released yet, but I ran it, my private secret programs to find good settings to simulate, to emulate all these old drum machines. And I released that a few years ago. It's called Vintage Tonic. Let's see, I have the Microtonic here. And so we go from something very old, like the Master Rhythm King. Turn up the volume a little. And then we have something like the CR78. The 808. Now some of these sounds, again, I was surprised, like how the hell can it do the 808 cowbell? Because this only has one oscillator.
Yeah.
And the 808 cowbell is like two different tones. Let's see if we have it here. It's a clap. Let's see, there it is.
Yeah.
And when you listen to it alone, it's like, it's not perfect. But it's using the pitch modulation to make a frequency modulation that makes it sound like it has those two different tones, And in a context, it's fairly convincing. You think of the 808, right? Yeah. Even if it's not exact, and that's also the fun of it. It's not exact, so you can take this, you can morph it into something else. I can put the 808 here, and then let's see. I put the let's take the CR78 there, and then I go back here, and I put the 808 here. Let's see. Oh, this side. And what's fun? Is that, of course, it's not limited to like simulate old analog drum machines. I threw some sample-based drum machines at it too to see what came out.
And this is a fairly simple drum machine sound engine, but in some magical ways.
Yes, you say it's simple. It's one oscillator, one noise, and a mixer section.
Yeah,
that's what a microtonic voice consists of. But let's see. So we took the DMX drum machine. We took the 707.
Yeah.
And you hear you hear this drum machine. You think of a sample-based drum machine. You think of a TR-707.
Yeah.
You don't think of a drum synth when you hear these sounds. But each time these snares play, they're slightly different because this is a continuously changing noise generator. It's not a sample.
Yeah.
This one. The Lin drum machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have the 909 too. Oh, the drum machine that everyone hates, the one Roland XOX machine that no one wants is the TR-505. But it was my first drum machine, so I just had to try it.
Yeah. I think it sounds better than the original.
Probably.
It's nice. How old is Microtonic? When did you write it?
Soon 20 years ago. I released it 2000. The first version, only for Windows, version 1, I released 2003.
Yeah. I think this is a great testament that it stands against the test of time, that you can still be kind of surprised and when I listen to these sounds, I don't think about Microsonic. I think about those sounds that you're kind of trying to replicate, and that's really cool. Yeah,
it is cool for me too. When I did this, it was like, wow, this machine can live on for another 10 years or 20 years. It's funny, right? I didn't change. I added a few parameters a few years later, like attack there, or like
Yeah.
small things. But basically, essentially, the sound engine is the same now for 20 years.
Yeah.
I've just been updating it, making it more versatile, and like having cool. Did you see the Beatspace thing?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
This one?
Yeah.
I released
Check this
this for Christmas
Yeah.
last year, 2022. Beatspace is maybe I have to back up a little because we should just quickly look at Patternarium,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay.
Yeah. So Patternarium is this thing we have on our website. We've been doing it for, I don't know, like 10 years or something. We had this page on our website where people can vote on computer-generated beats for the Microtonic. I will just...
But now we're kind of leaving Synplant territory,
Yes.
and we're in
Yeah.
Microtonic territory.
So if you like something, you vote it up. If you don't like it, you vote it down. And then our servers take all these votes and it generates new beats, keeping the things that people think is cool and throwing away things that people think is crap.
Yeah.
And I took all of this data that we now have, because we have tens of thousands. We have actually, this is 28th generation. We have 1,000 beats in each, so it's like 28,000 beats. And I took all that and I trained a neural net again. Here we go, AI. I trained a neural net to create those beats from just two parameters, a position, an X, Y position in a two-dimensional plane. And Beatspace is this. I can click the randomize button here to just randomize all these positions. Each little ring is one channel in Microtonic. This is channel number 3.
Yeah.
I can listen to it, and then I can drag it around to find sounds and patterns for this channel.
That's nice.
Just one more fun tool that we have added to Microtonic.
Yeah.
Over the years, we kept doing things around it, not changing the audio engine a lot, because obviously the audio engine is still good enough.
Yeah, and also as a bonus for every pocket operator PO32 users,
Yes.
they can use all these sounds.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and patterns.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's find a tonic. The tonic is a smaller version of the Microtonic inside a pocket operator. It's a 4-channel. Microtonic's 8 channels, so this is 4 channels, 4 simultaneous sounds. The fun thing with it is, if you have the Microtonic, you can take any sound you create here and transfer it over to this little machine. And the way you do it is with sounds. So let's see here. We have this. Let's say we want to have this beat in our pocket. Then we go here, we go to the sounds and patterns, and we can listen. It sounds different now because it only has 4 voices.
Yeah.
We click this button, makes it sound better.
Yeah.
It rearranges, moves the drum sound so that they, like if you have a kick and snare at the same step, it needs to be on 2 different voices.
Yeah.
So they don't like
Cut
cut each other off.
Yeah.
And then we can send. Let's see. We put this in receive mode. And now hold your ears. Now we have it here.
That's very cool. I think I was always impressed by how you can, do it over a mic and not having to plug it in to do that signal change. That must have been kind of messy.
Yeah, that was. I spent some time with that. No, it's like those old modems, It's like a 1200 baud modem.
Yeah.
But of course, it was a lot of work to make it to do the proper noise cancellation and things to make it work from like sort of any speaker into this microphone. You can even do it at a distance, with the room and everything. But
cool. And speaking of taking time, I mean, it takes time for you to program and to do anything, but it also takes time for the AI to train.
Oh yeah.
And to for the neural networks to.
Yeah. Going back to Genopatch.
Yeah.
Yes. So the speed that we have here is when it finds solution to the sound.
Yeah.
Is almost like it's thanks to it's almost all thanks to the power of neural nets.
Yeah.
That was like when I cracked it. I worked on this for many years before I had a good design, a good machine learning idea, a good idea for how to utilize neural nets, basically. I was about to, finish it and just have it as it was, but it took a long time, maybe like 20 minutes to get a sound.
Yeah.
But I thought it was fun,
Yeah.
Maybe this is good enough. But then, inspired by the progress at the time from Google and these big companies, it started to happen at that time, like maybe 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
We started to see some really impressive output from this like deep learning technology. And then I just started studying, how does this work? And when I finally cracked it, it was like, wow, it sped up the process so much. This is why it goes so fast now. But it takes a long time to train these neural nets.
Yeah.
Very long time.
And it's, I suppose, very dependent on the hardware you have accessible for training.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
And since I'm not Google or OpenAI or someone with like hundreds of millions of dollars, I can't invest in 1,000 of these GPUs that they buy to train their nets. I'm a little more modest. I have my little machine with 2 GPU cards. And the time it takes approximately for fully training a net is around 2 to 3 months.
On your machine?
On this machine that I have. And then imagine all the tests that I've been doing, all the changes I've been doing, like trying to tweak that there, trying to change that there. Every time I change something, if I change the audio engine in Synplant, or if I change the design of the neural net, because there's a lot of work in design, how you design a neural net. It's almost like designing a synthesizer. You have all these different modules that you connect together, and then they do magic together. But if one module is wrong, then everything can be ruined,
Yeah.
And all these attempts, and then I have to wait at least a week or 2 before I can even start to evaluate if this neural net is any better than the last one. And it's just so time consuming. I'm super happy that it's finally done and it works this well. So
that's really cool. I could just imagine how much kind of the fine line between something that works and something that is totally whack must be. I can just imagine like you're hitting these obstacles once in a while. It's like, what even is this? How do I even evaluate this?
Yeah, for sure. No, it's. This has tested my patience more than anything ever in my life, I think.
But one thing that I think is cool, and I think it's so cool to see someone that really utilizes neural networks and talks about it, because every time that Apple presents a new processor, they're like, yeah, it's got this graphic cores, efficiency cores, and then they just skip over and say like, neural networks. And it's so difficult for me to comprehend what even how you make use of the neural networks. And it's so cool to see that this is a very cool practical use of neural networks.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone has really implemented neural networks to do this exact thing. As far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen it. As far as I know, I haven't seen it. And that is also like doing something that no one has ever done before. It just leaves so many unknown variables, unknown parameters when you design. It's a lot of trial and error, because I can't just Google it. Like, how do I do this? There is no answer. I just have to try it, and then finally something works. This is where it's training. You can see it's
a dojo.
This is you can see the speed here, how it goes, and these iterations here that it's running is one epoch is 1024 of these iterations. I don't remember exactly. I think one iteration is 256 sounds. So it's like 256,000 sounds in each epoch. And I think at the end, when the net is finished, I've trained like something like 10 to... it's here, you can see it's 4,000 already. It's going to be like 10 to 20,000 epochs. I don't even know how many sounds it has listened to by that time to understand the synth, but we're talking millions of sounds.
And it evaluates itself?
And keeps improving itself. Slowly, successively, it keeps getting better and better and better for weeks and weeks, and eventually, finally we have something that, I feel super confident this will work with, this will produce cool results, whatever samples you throw at it. And there is a limit too. At some point it actually becomes worse. This is called overfitting. This is not technically overfitting, but overfitting is usually you have too little training data, but I don't have that. But at some point it becomes like too good at the Synplant sound engine that it stops using its imagination to come up with these weird funny sounds when you give it a random sample. It becomes like super good at producing sounds that Synplant produces, but not like arbitrary sounds, like taking a dog bark or something. You want that to be cool too, even if it can't do it perfectly with Synplant, you want something funny and useful, hopefully.
Cool. If you would come to that point, can you kind of rewind and take it to like, a month ago we had this sweet spot?
I have some measurements here where I have some metrics here for how it's performing with real world sounds. I have a big box of funny sounds that I throw at it, and then I sort of run the Genopatch algorithm here during the training, and I can see, and then of course always use my ears and my own verdict. So I listen to every generation that it spits out. I try with different sounds. Like, this one I like. It was the same when I made Beatspace. I generated probably 10 of these maps, and then I just choose the one that I felt like this is the one that creates interesting results, cool results.
And all of this training, also, speaking of cool results, we can also speak about warm results. It's generating a lot of heat.
Oh yeah.
You told me like a kind of happy and very utilitarian, useful side effect.
Yeah, so this machine that's training here, it generates a lot of heat. It generates enough heat to heat my brother's house. So the machine is at my brother's place, and he has quite a big house. And in the winter, this is what keeps them warm there, his family. And it's good because then it's actually cheaper than running electric radiators. It's actually more efficient in producing and distributing the heat that these processors generate. It's more efficient just pushing it out, because a processor needs to keep cool, you know, and a good cooling system does this. It moves heat from the processor to the room. And it's so efficient that it's cheaper for him to use this machine. And as a side effect, I can make Synplant too at the same time. So
it's really cool. Speaking about like how you have this one station, and then Google has probably a whole like arena full of servers, and they keep the whole arena cool. Maybe they don't even use the heat.
No, probably not. Probably not. Just goes to waste.
They could heat a whole city.
Yeah. Maybe this is the future.
Yeah. Cool. Do you think like is there anything else we kind of skipped by, or?
I think we covered a lot. Let's see.
What? All right. When will this be available?
That's the good question. Well, I'm glad you asked me now, and not like 1 year ago, because I would have answered the same thing 1 year ago, very soon. But now it is very soon. We're going to have a beta test now over the summer. And then I think I'm very confident everything is working good already. We shouldn't, you know, there shouldn't be too many obstacles ahead.
No. And from what I've seen, it works really well already, and the sound works, the AI, all of that, everything seems to work. So unless there is like some nitpicky, something wrong here and there in some menu or some stuff, I have a feeling you're where it should be.
Yeah.
And kind of ready for release.
Yeah.
From what I've seen.
Yeah. So let's say end of summer.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I said something. I don't have a specific date, but.
And didn't say like Northern Hemisphere summer. Said summer.
Yeah, exactly. No, but since you have to think about this, I've been working on this since 2009. This upgrade, so.
Yeah.
For me, talking about a few months is like this short time now.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to trying out even more, and I think a lot of people will see this and it's like, it's the only synth I need. And maybe it is. I mean, there's a lot of other synthesizers that can do other things, but having this super flexible solutions of turning a sample into a synth sound is super cool. And I really enjoy that kind of variation across the wheel, where you can make almost like a prepared piano kind of feeling, where you have really weird things happening on every key. And just go for it. It's gonna be super cool.
I think so too.
Sonic Charge, Magnus Lidström, he is the best.